What if, in less than a single minute, you could restore something you believed was gone forever? Not with pills, not with surgeries, not with uncomfortable conversations in a clinic, but with nothing more than your own hands. Imagine waking tomorrow morning, and your body greets you the way it once did years ago, naturally, confidently, without effort. This is the promise that has drawn countless men to search for answers. Because the truth is, most men over 50 or 60 don't talk about it openly, but they feel it deeply. The slow fading of what used to be automatic. Those mornings that once came uninvited, strong and reliable, now arrive less often or not at all. And with that absence, something else begins to fade. Confidence, vitality, even a sense of self. It's an uncomfortable truth, but one worth facing. For generations, men have been taught to equate their physical vigor with their identity. Ancient cultures carved this belief into stone. In Roman society, male virility was considered not only a private matter, but a public one tied to strength, leadership, and even divine favor. In ancient China, scholars and physicians described a man's jing, his vital essence, as something that determined longevity, health, and masculinity itself. When it weakened, so too did the man's power in the eyes of others. Fast forward to the present day, and while the language may have changed, the feeling has not. Men still measure themselves, often silently, against this ancient standard of vitality. So when their bodies change, when what was once easy becomes uncertain, the silence grows heavy. Many turn to quick fixes pills that promise instant results, costly treatments, or invasive procedures. But these often feel like someone else's solution, not the body's own. That is why this method feels so revolutionary, even though, in truth, it has roots in practices far older than modern medicine. A simple technique, done in complete privacy, capable of awakening the body's own systems without external aid. The idea seems almost too good to be true. Yet what you are about to hear is neither fantasy nor trick. It is the rediscovery of a principle that men across centuries have sought in temples and baths and healing houses. The possibility of regaining natural vigor not through chemicals or devices, but through an understanding of the body's hidden architecture. Dr. Grace Miller, a urologist with over 2 decades of experience, introduces this not as folklore or wishful thinking, but as science woven with tradition. She speaks of one hidden spot, an overlooked key that most men don't even know exists, yet one that can, when touched correctly, reawaken the body's most essential systems. It is not a matter of magic, but of memory. For the body is not broken with age, it is simply slower to respond, like a great machine that has not been oiled in some time. And when you press the right place in the right way, you are not just moving skin and muscle. You are reminding your body of something it has always known how to do. This, then, is the journey we begin. Over the course of the next chapters, you will learn exactly where this hidden point lies, how to reach it, and why such a small act can create such profound results. But more than that, you will see how this discovery ties into something far larger, a story of men across history trying to hold on to their strength, their essence, their identity as time pressed forward. So stay with this story, because what follows is not only about a massage technique. It is about reclaiming a piece of yourself you may have believed was lost to age. And when you understand why it works, you may see aging itself not as decline, but as a chance to rediscover the quiet power already written into your body. Dr. Grace Miller does not begin with fantasy. She begins with the body because the body, for all its mysteries, is governed by laws as precise as any clock. To understand why this simple act of pressure can bring such profound change, you must first imagine your body as a machine, one designed with astonishing complexity, but one that, like all machines, requires perfect coordination among its parts. For natural firmness and vitality to appear, 3 systems must communicate seamlessly. The first is the brain. From it, signals of arousal are sent like electric messages racing down old copper wires. The second is the vascular system. Blood must not simply arrive, it must surge, fast and unimpeded, filling chambers with strength. The third is the pelvic floor, a group of hidden muscles that contract and hold, creating stability. Only when these 3 systems speak to one another with clarity does the body respond as it once did automatically. But here lies the difficulty. Time interferes. With age, the nervous system slows. What was once lightning fast becomes sluggish, like a telegraph line after years of storms. Blood vessels, too, lose their youthful elasticity. Imagine a garden hose left out in the summer sun, once supple and responsive, now hardened, its flow reduced. And the pelvic floor muscles. They weaken quietly, so gradually that most men do not notice until their responses have already changed. It is important to hear this truth. This is not damage. It is not brokenness. It is, rather, the natural slowing of pathways that once moved without friction. And because the decline feels invisible at first, men mistake it for permanence. But permanence is not the right word. Dormancy is. The body remembers, it only needs to be reminded. This is where pressure points enter the story. For thousands of years, traditional medicine in cultures from India to China has insisted that certain points on the body can awaken deeper systems. Ancient Chinese physicians mapped key pathways across the body, believing that blocked energy caused dysfunction. Ayurvedic healers in India practiced marma therapy, identifying junctions of flesh, bone, vessel, and nerve that, when pressed, restored balance and vitality. To modern ears, this may sound like metaphor, but when combined with what we know today of nerves, muscles, and blood flow, the old wisdom begins to take on new clarity. Think of what happens when you touch the right spot. The pressure sends an immediate signal up your spinal cord, bypassing the sluggish, aging pathways. It is like jump-starting a car with a weak battery. Suddenly, the circuits light up, and everything begins to hum again. The vessels dilate, the muscles awaken, the system reconnects. What seemed lost begins to reappear. This is not about fantasy or miracle. It is about anatomy and memory. The same way a pianist's fingers remember a song not played in decades. The skill was not lost, it was waiting, and with stimulation it rises again. So when Dr. Miller points to one specific area, a place most men have never considered, she is not inventing a shortcut. She is uncovering a forgotten key to the body's natural design. The reason this technique works is not because it introduces something new, but because it reactivates what was always there. And that, perhaps, is the most hopeful truth of all. Decline is not the same as disappearance. What has faded can be recalled. What has slowed can be stirred. And sometimes the difference lies in knowing exactly where to press. The Copenhagen study wasn't just about ranking sports. It cracked open a deeper truth about aging and movement. Most of us have been conditioned to believe that exercise is something we add to our lives, a task to check off, like eating vegetables or brushing our teeth. But for the people who lived the longest in this research, exercise wasn't a chore. It was woven into the fabric of who they were. Think about it. When you play tennis, it isn't just about sweating or burning calories. It's about the quick reactions, the mental focus, the hand-eye coordination, the thrill of competition, and the laughter that often comes between points. It's about community too, because unlike walking alone, tennis almost always involves another human being. And connection, science tells us, is one of the strongest predictors of longevity. The study revealed that people who engaged in sports like tennis, badminton, or even soccer lived significantly longer than those who simply walked or jogged. Why? Because these activities combine three essential ingredients: physical challenge, mental engagement, and social bonding. This flips conventional wisdom on its head. For decades, older adults have been told, just walk. Doctors repeat it. Magazines print it, and wellness programs advertise it. And while walking is indeed better than doing nothing, the data suggests it may not be the most powerful path to longevity. Here's the shocking part. Walking alone added only about 3 extra years of life expectancy in the Copenhagen study. But playing tennis? That was associated with nearly 10 extra years. Imagine the difference: 10 years of laughter, energy, sharper thinking, and the ability to keep up with your grandkids, or even compete with your friends on the court. This doesn't mean you need to grab a racket tomorrow if you've never played before. What it does mean is this: the quality of your movement matters as much as the quantity. Exercises that challenge your balance, demand quick thinking, and keep you socially connected have a profound impact on how long and how well you live. And maybe that's the lesson we've been missing all along. Longevity isn't earned by simply putting one foot in front of the other on a quiet sidewalk. It's earned by living fully in your body, your mind, and your community. So what's the hidden formula for lifelong vitality? It's not just about moving your body. It's about choosing the kind of movement that awakens your spirit, sharpens your mind, and keeps your heart connected to others. Here is the truth the Copenhagen study whispered to the world. The people who lived the longest weren't T, the ones with the most rigid workout routines. They were the ones who played. They found joy in their activity. Tennis, badminton, dancing, cycling with friends, these weren't obligations, they were expressions of life. For many of us past 60, the word exercise can feel heavy, even intimidating. Knees ache, back stiffen, energy dips. But what if instead of seeing exercise as punishment, we saw it as an invitation? A chance to rediscover the lightness of play. Let's break it down into 3 pillars, 3 choices you can make starting today. 1. Choose movement. That challenges you. Longevity thrives on challenge. Your muscles and bones need resistance. Your brain needs novelty, and your reflexes need practice. Whether it's learning pickleball, taking up ballroom dancing, or trying Tai Chi, look for activities that push you just outside your comfort zone. That's where growth lives. 2. Make it social. One of the overlooked secrets of exercise is the role of companionship. When you sweat with others, you don't just share activity, you share accountability, laughter, and belonging. It's harder to skip a game when a friend is waiting for you. And every laugh exchanged on the court or in the dance studio is a dose of medicine science canteen bottle. 3. Infuse it with joy. The most effective exercise is the one that burns the most calories. It's the one you look forward to doing again tomorrow. If your routine feels like drudgery, it won't last. But if it lights you up inside, you'll keep coming back. And here's the miracle. You don't need to be a professional athlete, and you don't need to start young. The study proved that even people who began later in life reaped massive benefits. Longevity is less about where you've been and more about what you're willing to embrace today. So the hidden formula is this: movement plus challenge plus connection plus joy. It's not complicated, but it's powerful. Now picture this: 10 years from now, you're not just alive, you're vibrant. You're not sitting on the sidelines watching life pass by. You're in the game, laughing, competing, moving with purpose. That's the gift this study offers us. Not just more years, but better. So here we are, standing face to face with a truth that challenges everything we thought we knew about aging. The secret to living longer, and to hidden in quiet walks or lonely treadmills. It's found in laughter echoing across a tennis court, in the rhythm of a dance floor, in the pulse of a shared game, in the moments where movement and joy collide. The Copenhagen study didn't just give us numbers. It gave us a vision of what growing older can look like. 10 extra years of life is not just more time on the calendar, it's more sunsets to witness, more stories to share with family, more games to play with grandchildren, more chances to love, laugh, and live fully. But here's the question: what will you do with this knowledge? Will you keep walking the same path, thinking, at least I'm doing something? Or will you dare to step into a new rhythm, to embrace play, to try something that makes you feel alive again? Because vitality after 60 isn't reserved for the few. It's available to anyone willing to move with purpose, with curiosity, with joy. You don't need perfect knees, endless stamina, or a lifetime of training. You only need the courage to begin and the willingness to make it fun. So today I invite you, look beyond walking, explore, experiment, find the kind of movement that challenges your body, sparks your mind, and connects you with others. Maybe it's tennis, maybe it's pickleball, maybe it's dance, cycling, or yoga with friends. Whatever it is, let it remind you that life doesn't end at 60, it opens. And if this message resonates with you, share it. Share it with someone you love, someone who needs a gentle push, someone who deserves 10 more years of laughter and energy. Because together, we can rewrite the story of aging one joyful movement at a time. Your longevity is not just in your legs. It's in your laughter, it's in your play. It's in your choice to live not just longer, but better. If you're ready to challenge the old rules of exercise and embrace the new path of vitality, drop a comment below. What's the activity that lights you up inside? Because the truth is, your story doesn't end with age, it begins with motion.